Hi, everybody. I'm Susanna Welford, and I'm the CEO and founder of Running Start. We're really happy to have you all here today. This is sort of the first event for our Young Women to Watch Awards, which will take place on April 28th, which you are all invited to. And the Women to Watch Awards has been sponsored by Walmart since 2007. We're so pleased to have Laura Segrist from Walmart here with us today as our founding sponsor. And we also have, Facebook has been a really long-term sponsor of ours. So Crystal Patterson, thank you so much for being such a great friend to Running Start. And I want to introduce you to our moderator. And as soon as you hear her speak, you'll see why we chose Yorama to moderate our first congressional panel. She won our I Look Like a Politician ambassador contest a few years ago, which is what we do every year at the Women to Watch Awards. And before that, she was one of our congressional fellows working for Senator Klobuchar. And then before that, she was vice president at Michigan State University during an incredibly difficult time there when the sexual assault cases were going on there. And she now is working on campus sexual assault in all of Michigan. So we are very incredibly pleased to have Yorama as our wonderful moderator and alum. And before I hand things over to Yorama, Crystal Patterson is going to introduce our panel. So Crystal, I pass the floor to you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Susanna, for the introduction and also for having us here. Facebook is very proud to support Running Start and the years we've been able to collaborate with you on, finding and fostering the talent of all these wonderful young women. So thank you so much. We're happy to sponsor this panel tonight as well. And I want to thank the members of Congress for joining us. I know this is a busy time. Okay, it's an honor to introduce all of them. So without any further ado, new Congresswoman Michelle Fischbach, new Congresswoman Marie Newman, Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici, and former Congresswoman Ileana Ros-Lehtinen are all here tonight, and we are very excited to hear from all of you. So I'll let you all take it away. Thank you.
Hello, thank you all for being here. I'm so excited, and we're just going to dive right in because I know that especially our Congresswomen are on a tight schedule. So our opening question is for all of our panelists. Running Start teaches young women that we should run for office because we have unique skills, we have unique experiences, and our identities are needed in the halls of power. So my question for each of you is, how do you bring your full, authentic self to your role as a member of Congress?
I would probably guess that the other elected officials, the other congresswomen, former congresswomen, would agree that I think you bring yourself. And so you can't forget any of your experiences. You bring, and I'm a mom and a grandma, and I bring all that with me. So, and I think in particular, I think it's especially prevalent with women is where you come because you're here to help. You don't necessarily come with, I'm going to change this issue, but you're here to say, I'm going to help. I'm going to make things better, whatever that thing may be. I'm going to make it better. And so I think it would be very difficult, I think, for a woman who is an elected official to not bring her whole self to the job.
I absolutely agree with that. Thank you, Michelle. We do bring our authentic selves and our life experiences. And if we aren't authentic, that shows. You have to be yourself. And some of the experiences that we went through. I work a lot on issues dealing with kids. As a mom, I'm not a grandmother yet. Maybe I'll borrow your grandkids or picture because I'm ready. My kids aren't, but we bring those experiences with us. And I got interested in policy from being a volunteer in schools. But I also work on higher education issues because I wasn't ready to go to college when I finished high school, and I took a break and I was on my own. And when I finally decided to go to college, I did that on my own. So I have that experience of, I started at a community college and I did that for 2 years, and then I went to university and then 3 years of law school, so 7 years. And so when I talk to people about how can I go to college and how can I afford it and what can I do, that's a big issue for me. We should not have barriers to higher education. Everyone should be able to go and pursue their dream of higher education without acquiring a lot of debt. So I work on those issues as well. And it's such an honor to serve and to serve with so many women, but we really do need diverse voices here. It makes a difference to have those diverse voices around the table. And women, like Michelle was saying, women come to solve problems. We're not really here because we want the position or the power. We want to get stuff done, and we do.
You know, it's funny, and Suzanne, thank you for your comments. I think when we all come here, we do believe that we're here to solve problems, but I think we also come as people that are very determined and passionate. I think women tend to be more passionate. We also tend to be better at not just problem solving, but managing a great deal of stress. And so I always say that when I have a big, thorny, complex, hard problem, I always call a busy mom, because those are the folks that are most equipped to solving the thorniest problems and the most complex problems. So my hope is that it would be my supreme compliment if someone said that about me. So that's how I'm a former management consultant, and I like process and communications. And so I apply a lot of that here, but I've also had family with incredibly large health problems and challenging mental health situations. And so I think that you really have to address this role in a way where you are wearing all of your hats. And I think Michelle said this as well, that wearing all of your hats actually really helps you to bring a very holistic solution to anything. So I appreciate that question. Thanks.
Living your authentic self is so important. And although I've never met Congresswoman Marie Newman, it's the first time I see her, we have something in common, because I have a transgender son. I wanted him to live his authentic life, because people have to be who they are. And I know that Marie Newman, Congresswoman Newman, has a similar situation. It's not an easy path to live your authentic life and to be your authentic self, but it's so liberating to say, this is who I am, and to be able, we live in this wonderful country where we're able to live our true lives. And so, Marie, I hope to meet you one day and share that feeling of how important it is to live an authentic life. I couldn't live an inauthentic life. It's not in my DNA, and I wouldn't want my son Rodrigo to do that either. Thank you.
That was so moving, and I'm glad that this panel connected the two of you to each other. That's just wonderful. All right, I would like to now invite a representative from Running Start founding sponsor Walmart to ask the next question.
Thanks, Rama, and thank you to our special guests for joining us today. And for those who don't know, the Running Start Walmart Congressional Fellowship provides talented, high potential young women with the once-in-a-lifetime experience of interning on Capitol Hill for the ultimate role model member of Congress. I know I personally wouldn't be here today if I hadn't had the opportunity to intern on the Hill myself. So, since its inception in 2009, Walmart has given Running Start over $2 million to support this program, and we've placed 145 fellows in the offices of over 80 members of Congress, both sides of the aisle and both chambers. So we're really excited to be able to share that today. And on the topic of internships, I'd like to ask, did you all have an internship that inspired you to run for office?
First of all, I neglected to say thank you to Running Start for doing this panel, but for all that you do. And thank you to Walmart and the other sponsors. What a difference it makes to have your support for such a wonderful program. Thank you for the question, Laura. I didn't actually have an internship myself. What really changed my career path was job shadowing. I job shadowed at a legal aid office. It was before I even went to college, and got to see what it was like to truly help people in need. And so then I started as a sort of regular volunteer, and then I ended up going to a paralegal program and eventually getting my law degree. So that experience wasn't different from, it was a short-term job shadow situation, but it really changed my life. And when I have interns in my office, I try very hard to make sure that they have opportunities to find a passion. And I've tried very, very hard over the years to make sure the internships are available to everyone, so that we don't have the inequitable situation. And that's why your sponsorship and Running Start internships or fellowships are so important, because we need people from all different backgrounds, not just people who can afford to to do an internship. And that's why the sponsorship is so important.
I will tell you, and maybe Congresswoman Russ Lettman may remember, I had an internship with Vin Weber.
What a great guy. Very bipartisan.
Yes, and
Very
it didn't
bipartisan, yes.
necessarily inspire me to run for office because it was a few years later. But I will tell you, you know, you always pose for that picture, you know, the smiling picture with your congressman when you do an internship, and it's the one with Vin Weber is on my mantle over here, or on my shelf over here. And then there is another picture of Vin and I in 1996 when I ran for office. So, and I told Vin, I called him up and I said, guess what? You made it all the way back to DC. And I showed him his picture was on my shelf. So, but like, you know, I think the internships, and more than anything, just it broadens your experiences, whatever internship, but it is wonderful. I think the experience of being in DC demystifies it a bit. You know what? You know, you meet a lot of wonderful people, and they're normal, and you know, it's not quite so scary anymore. So I appreciated it in that sense. But yeah, I figure not many people who are around here still remember Vin.
So when I was in college, I actually all 8 semesters had an internship, a semi full-time job, and a full load. So I went from scrubbing toilets and tables over to my first job. My first internship was with, I was actually a speechwriter for an executive. And so would go do that and then come back and go to school and rinse, wash, repeat. So I think that one of the most unique things about that internship was that this guy was a lovely guy, and I'm not going to share who he is because some of the people on the call may remember him. It's a very colorful character, CEO of a Fortune 500 firm, but he was both gracious and smart, but also was very clear and blunt. And it was really good for me to have all of that at that time. It really toughened me up very quickly. So it didn't necessarily inspire me, but I remember that job probably better than many of my jobs over a 30-year career.
I'm older than dirt, so I don't know that. I don't think internships were around when I first started, but I did have student teaching opportunities at Miami Killian High School. I used to be a teacher, Florida certified teacher, and once I became a teacher, I thought, wow, this is the most exciting thing that I could ever achieve. And education continued to be my passion, but you end up doing lots of different things. So that was an interesting internship that was student teaching, but it evolved into so many other career paths. So accept the internships, because even if it's not exactly what you want, it's going to take you to different paths, and that will lead you to what you want to do. Don't say no to any opportunities.
As a follow-up, I'm just curious, you know, what's the most important skill for an intern in your congressional office to have for those who are listening, thinking about applying and coming to DC, or even in the district offices?
I've enjoyed hundreds of interns have worked with me over the years in small businesses and executive positions I've had. And I will tell you, the most important thing is attitude. Because most people are smart. Really, if you're looking for a job, you're smart. But being flexible and willing to do anything and work very, very hard is incredibly important. And I will tell you, my staff here in DC are all rock stars, absolute rock stars, and same in the district. And when I hire, I don't always look for just experience. I look primarily for what is your interest, your passion, and your attitude. So I would say always lean forward with your attitude, no matter what type of job or internship it is.
I'm going to add to that, and I agree, attitude is critical. Communication skills. Oftentimes my interns will monitor a hearing and write a memo, or just their ability to express to my rock star team and to me, this is what I learned, this is what I care about, this is what if they can communicate and even say to me, I had an intern at the end of the time say to me, I really want to meet a particular member of Congress. And I thought, good for you for telling me that. most people wouldn't speak up, so I arranged a meeting. But the ability to communicate is really critical, a written and oral communication, and that plus critical thinking, and you can go anywhere.
To say it was a book, Everything You Need in Life You Learned in Kindergarten, and I think it's so true. One of the skills is work well with. Does this person work well with others? And it's so important to share the playground and to play well with others. It's good for in an internship to have all kinds of situations where you have to get along with sometimes not so pleasant folks, and sometimes most people are quite adorable and wonderful, but there are some tricky situations. So adapt well, read the room, and see how you can get around difficult situations and get along with others, even if you disagree with them. Wouldn't we be better off if we got rid of that toxic environment in our workplaces?
I will agree absolutely with Congresswoman Newman about attitude. And I think attitude is just so important. And the other thing is, interns don't always have the best jobs. They're the ones dragging the boxes up. And so I think the willingness to do that and not thinking that it's beneath you or whatever, or that I should be doing something more important. I think just because sometimes, those are the best experiences, because you had to go drag a box up, you ran into somebody, or you learned something new, or or you have to drive someone somewhere and it doesn't seem super glamorous, but just having that time to chit chat is incredible. And so I think that just that willingness to do whatever will be helpful. So.
Hey, folks, we probably have time for one more roundabout, and then I think our respective leaders will want us to
We're
get
gonna need to go vote.
Yes, I was going to say our last bit is some rapid fire questions. So we just want a 1-sentence response, and I'm going to go person by person. Congresswoman Newman, what was the first moment that made running for office feel worthwhile for you?
Oh gosh. Oh, I do know. When I was in my first campaign, which I lost, by the way, and always try again. Listen to your mom. In my first campaign, I will remember it was about 3 months in, and we didn't have any money left. So I just decided that I would walk 10,000 doors. And that far in, I was about 6,000 doors in. And this woman at the door introduced me to a donor group and gave me a little bit of money to go the rest of the way. So hang in there.
That is incredible. All right, on to the next one. Congresswoman Fishbach, what is the best piece of advice you've gotten from another elected official?
Don't take yourself too seriously. Really, it's a very stressful job. There's a lot of stuff coming at you. And I was in the Minnesota Senate before. Lots of stuff coming at you, but you know what? If you can't laugh at yourself and have, and smile at everybody, then you should be in this business, because that's important. It's for your sanity.
Yeah.
You got to be able, because you just got to be able to kick back.
Great advice. Thank you so much. All right. And Congresswoman Bonamici, what is one piece of self-care advice that you have?
Exercise. Take time for yourself, whether it be taking a walk around the block or going to a gym, doing yoga. Make that at the top of the list. And because the older you get, the more you need it. And the more you need it for your mental as well as your physical health. So we're so busy here all the time. But don't give up the exercise, because that's going to keep you going mentally and physically.
I love that. I feel like that's been relevant for a lot of people during this past year when we've been kind of locked down. I know my daily walks have kept me sane.
Sometimes I just run around my apartment here in DC if I need to, but don't give that up, that exercise.
Whatever you can fit in. I understand if you all have to jump off. So thank you so much for being here. Congresswoman Ross-Layton, and if you're able to stick around, I have probably rapid fire questions to ask you, but thank you, Congresswoman.
Thank you,
everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Running Start.
And thank you for having us.
Such a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Nice to see you, Liana. Thank you, Running Start.
Bye.
All right, Congresswoman Ross-Layton, and I want to ask.
All right, fire away.
Yes, I want to ask you some of these rapid fire questions. So I'm going to go back to, what is the best piece of advice you have gotten from another elected official?
There are no final victories. There are no final defeats. Whenever If your bill goes down, you're gonna try again. If you think you finally passed the bill and that's the end of it, then you have to deal with how it's going to be implemented. So nothing is ever final. Life is a cycle. Things just go on. Just keep at it.
Just keep at it. And again, I feel like in this past year, when there's been so much upheaval in our lives, just keep at it is such a good mantra for us to keep close to our hearts right now.
Like they say, part of success is just showing up. Sometimes you just have to be there. Just have to do the work.
Well, I'm going to turn it back over to Susanna and Melissa. Thank you.
And thank you. You are a remarkable achiever, and Running Start made you what you are, but I have a feeling you had that kind of magic inside you all the time. Right, Susanna?
She came to us a star, and she's even more of a star today. So yeah, we are extremely
Thank you
grateful.
so much for
Thank you,
letting me
Congresswoman.
participate with you. I want to hear from you, okay? Don't you let go.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Good.
I wish you much success, ladies. I can't wait to see the big show, and I'm going to see the panel in the coming days, but then the big shebang. So plug it again, Susanna. When is it?
April 28th, and it's free. I mean, it's never free, and it's free because we want everybody to sign on and vote for an ambassador. So yeah, thank you.
I will be there.
Excellent.
From Miami, Florida.
Good.
Thank you, ladies. Good night.